Hey everyone, this is Nurski coming to you guys live once again via Twitch TV. And have I got a game for you guys? See, the good luck, have fun's already going down. First off, spawning as the red Zerg is going to be none other than Complexity Gaming's CatZ. His opponent for this matchup, spawning as the blue Zerg over here in the top left-hand corner, the man from Evil Geniuses himself, IdrA. This is going to be on the map Altar, LE, the Blizzard version of the map. Means we do have the destructible rocks over here at the third, so that sometimes can come into play towards, you know, the mid-game, late-game stages of the game. But not expecting to be seeing that happening a whole lot in this particular matchup, just because this is going to be a ZVZ. These guys do have pretty close spawning positions, about the closest spawning positions you can really actually get on the map Altar, LE. LE standing for the letter edition of the map, because Blizzard do not like the GSL version. Hence the destructible rocks at the third, because we at Blizzard Entertainment love some destructible rocks. Do see CatZ is probably going to find IdrA before IdrA finds CatZ, just because of the Overlord scouting pattern that he's using. Sending one Overlord towards the bottom base, one Overlord towards the top left base, so he's going to probably figure out where IdrA is at pretty quickly. We do see CatZ is going to be going for a hatch first, IdrA as well doing the same. IdrA opting not to scout right away, whereas CatZ is going to be scouting right away, so CatZ definitely going to find IdrA before IdrA can find him. But that should actually play probably little consequence to how this game actually plays out. But we'll have to wait and see. We do see now CatZ is going to be taking the pool, or the gas before pool. IdrA going to likewise be doing the same. Gets his gas up first, then gets his pool down. So both players right now actually mirroring each other, going hatch first into a gas and then pool. A lot of times players will do that because they either want to get up some really fast roaches, or they potentially want to still get up fast speedlings, especially on a map as large as Altar. I definitely think going for fast speedlings definitely is not necessarily the worst choice in the world. Just because of the distance between bases. I mean, if you look at these distances as we go to the natural and head out, even in these closer positions, it is actually a pretty huge distance between you and your opponent's base. And when you haven't actually found your opponent yet, I mean, if you were in like the cross positions, something like that, it's a rather surmountable distance. So doing something like maybe fast speedlings, not always the worst idea. And we do see right now CatZ has taken his speed. Gonna wait and see if IdrA gets his. Yep, IdrA's gonna get his as well. See a little bit of a drone transfer going down here for IdrA. CatZ will scout that out. Does know where IdrA is at. Has gotten a pretty good look at his base. Knows that more or less him and IdrA are doing the same build at this point in time. So no deviations for either player just yet. Looking at the economy, though, we do see IdrA already squeezing out one extra drone over CatZ. So IdrA in those just absolutely superior macro mechanics, paying off really well for him. You're just finally going to get the scout here on CatZ, or at least get an idea of a scout on CatZ. See these Zerglings taking a lot of damage, though. Might actually pick one off. Yes, one does go down, but now IdrA is going to get over here into the base of CatZ and see exactly everything that CatZ is up to. Check all of CatZ's tech, always essential in a ZVZ. To be checking all of your opponent's tech with some of those initial scouting lings. You don't want to get caught off guard by banelings or fast roaches or anything of that nature. So we see CatZ putting on an extremely fast spine crawler. IdrA is going to be actually going for a pretty quick baneling nest. CatZ as well going to be doing the same, although his baneling nest getting started a little bit later than IdrA's. So IdrA will have his banelings up first. We do see now a little bit of a fight over here at the front of IdrA's base. CatZ will get his speed up just a moment before IdrA. Now IdrA gets his speed. And we're moving forward, trying to chase down those lings of CatZ, see where they went to. CatZ, meanwhile, going to be trying to do a little bit of an end around. Doesn't really have as many lings as IdrA, though, so he does have to be careful, especially opening up banelings, to not just lose these lings for nothing. But CatZ could potentially get a really good scout out, and does indeed actually see the baneling nest of IdrA, so he will know that IdrA thinking about going banelings. And that's probably going to prompt CatZ to make an adjustment in his play. We do see right away he's going to be morphing some banelings. IdrA has one ling inside of CatZ's base. Queen will clean that up. But IdrA knows that CatZ is going to be morphing in some banelings of his own, so IdrA needs to be careful with these lings. Losing a bunch of your lings in the early game can be absolutely devastating when you do have banelings versus banelings. And we do see IdrA actually mismanaging a bunch of his lings. Loses something like 8 lings there very quickly. If we look at the units killed, CatZ already up to 13, IdrA just 4, so IdrA is going to have to probably reproduce some lings at some point here. We do see he has started a Roach Warren though, does not want to stay on these Baneling Wars for a very long time, even has started his lair as well. Also a very fast evolution chamber by IdrA, so we're going to be waiting to see what CatZ does. CatZ also getting his lair, getting a Roach Warren. Has not put down an evolution chamber yet though, so IdrA might get a little bit ahead in the upgrade game. We'll have to wait and see though. Taking a couple extra of his gases. So going up to 3 gases is IdrA. Meanwhile, CatZ has actually taken all 4 of his gases, but not actually using them all. It's still just operating off of 1 gas. So it'll be interesting to see how that actually plays out. We do see over here in the economy tab that is actually making CatZ extremely mineral heavy. So I'm going to be interested to see exactly where CatZ is going to be going with his minerals. Just now finally getting a bunch of his drones into his gases so that he won't get absolutely too mineral heavy. Going straight for the burrow is going to be CatZ. CatZ also producing some roaches. IdrA, meanwhile, as that scouting ling of CatZ gets cleaned up pretty quickly. Looks like he's going to be just working on these destructible rocks for the 3rd. Wants to get those out of the way as quickly as possible. Does look like this is going to go into a little bit more of a macro game. So getting those destructible rocks down, always essential for that. CatZ just now starting to work on his. A couple of roaches coming out. Gonna make this rocks a lot easier to clear. IdrA even getting a macro hatchery very quickly. So IdrA is now deviating quite a bit from what CatZ was doing. Not getting the burrow. Instead, it's just going to be getting the roach speed and a +1 attack upgrade for his roaches. Also is going to be getting overlord speed very quickly. That'll help him scout out his opponent quite a bit. May even get drops at some point. You never know. Have been seeing drops get used a little bit more in the ZVZ matchups, especially Baneling drops. Baneling drops can be extremely good. You do see IdrA now going to be scouting with an Overlord. If he does manage this right, he shouldn't actually lose the Overlord and should get a pretty darn good idea of everything that CatZ is up to. Both players now taking their 3rd base. So very, very similar builds. If we look at the economy though, really quick, we say IdrA has already pulled almost 10 drones ahead over CatZ. So IdrA once again showing that just absolutely dominant macro style of play. And just ability to macro in general. I mean, he can almost be mirroring his opponent and somehow always manages to get a couple of drones ahead. Look at the units tab really quick. We can see that IdrA, couple of roaches behind, just 5 roaches behind CatZ. But that is actually of pretty little consequences. You now see him not only catching up, but getting ahead of CatZ. Do have an infestation pit going down now for CatZ in his base. So he's going to be moving up to the infestor tech. Going down there in that choke between his main and his natural. Now CatZ looks like he is going to actually force IdrA to cancel his 3rd, so that is actually pretty huge there. CatZ going doing a little bit of an end around with his roaches. IdrA just immediately cancels his 3rd rather than lose it. Probably will be putting it back up very shortly. And now we see CatZ in full retreat though, because IdrA does have a lot of roaches and they're on the way towards CatZ's base. And right now IdrA is ahead in upgrades. 1 to 0 upgrades for CatZ roaches, so CatZ eventually going to have to get his upgrades really rolling out because you do see IdrA has already started the +2. But right now CatZ is gearing up to go to Infestor Tech. Pathogen Glands upgrade on the way. IdrA, meanwhile, just now getting his Infestation Pit, so hasn't even put the Infestation Pit down. So there it is, morphing in, but does have that extra macro hatchery, so IdrA should be able to spend his money pretty well. IdrA now going to try and return the favor for CatZ. Going to see if he can actually get CatZ to cancel, or, well, not in this case cancel, but actually just destroy CatZ 3rd. Poking in, taking a couple of shots, now backing up. Has a superior concave over CatZ, and it looks like these 2 forces are actually going to do battle here. And this is actually not going so well for CatZ, because CatZ is actually just now caught up in upgrades. And IdrA's going to actually be able to pick off a queen, going to get a couple of drones. Should be able to actually focus down this hatchery. Yes, IdrA will do that. Now IdrA is going to be in a very good position. Look at the units tab really quickly. We can't see IdrA way ahead in the roach counts as CatZ was getting ready to switch over to infestors. And if we look at the income tab, both players pretty even, but the big difference is IdrA now has his 3rd base up and online. and there may not be much CatZ can actually do about that. IdrA now starting to produce some infestors of his own as that pathogen gland upgrade is just about to complete. But we do see CatZ gearing up for a push here, wants to see if he can pressure IdrA. Actually could potentially pressure IdrA, but I honestly think with just 3 infestors, the amount of roach numbers that he has may not actually be enough to surmount this army of IdrA, but it looks like he's going to try and do it anyways, pushing up into natural IdrA, pokes in, not going to actually back up, sees a ton of roaches, maybe realizing now that, oh man, not probably going to be able to actually attack that. So it looks like CatZ is going to just back up. IdrA's just about to get his roaches up, or his infestors up as well. So these guys are definitely going to be going more into the late game. Spinecrawler going down there by the 3rd, pretty standard stuff. CatZ with his 3rd, starting to work on getting that back online. About 75% of the way done, but right now at this point, both players kind of just trying to find a little bit of a break. Macro up a little bit. Even a Spore Crawler going down for IdrA wants to have some detection on any kind of burrow roach or burrow infestor play, as that has become a lot more popular in these ZVZ matchups. We do see CatZ doing a good job. Get it out of my mouth eventually, guys. Trying to spread out his roaches a little bit. Income-wise, we do see right now IdrA still ahead, about 5 drones, 70 to the 65 of CatZ. So IdrA still doing a very good job keeping up with his macro. Do see a Hydralist then going now, so we do see something that's become pretty popular. You go typically a lot of times 2 bases, you'll start getting up a decent number of roaches in the ZVZ matchups once you get into the macro games. And then you do tend to move into infestors. And then once you get to 3 bases, you got the extra gas, the extra minerals, a lot of players will start to get Hydralists. So IdrA going to be producing some Hydras to add to his army, just 3 infestors with his army to throw down some fungal growths. Hydras are pretty good so long as you have a decent amount of roaches. I mean, especially on roach versus roach, but they also survive fungals extremely well. You see IdrA looking like he's going to get ready to push in, but a good fungal was done by CatZ, but now some counter fungals by IdrA, and now both players fungling each other's infestors. IdrA's roaches attacking CatZ roaches. IdrA's roaches are actually 2-0, so IdrA could potentially break CatZ here, but we'll have to wait and see. It's going to be a very close battle. All of these roaches extremely low for both players, but reinforcements coming in for CatZ, and CatZ will hold, is going to force IdrA to back up. IdrA, though, reinforcing over here at his base with a lot of Hydralists. Just now starting to reproduce some roaches, since he did lose quite a few of his roaches in that battle. CatZ, on the other hand, does have burrows, so he will be able to heal up his roaches a little bit faster. It does make those units a lot more reusable. You can see IdrA's roaches rather hurt, but now here comes the Hydralist, going to kill a couple of CatZ's overlords. But CatZ actually had a couple of extras, so CatZ still looking pretty good right now. Looks like IdrA's just going to be moving around the map trying to pick off CatZ's overlords. Does have his 4th base on the way. CatZ does have a Ling burrowed right next to it, but I'm not sure how well that is going to come into play. CatZ 4th now online, going to be getting up a queen at it immediately. And CatZ has a big army, and it looks like he is gearing up to try and push out once again. Does have the 2-0 upgrades now, so he does have equivalent upgrades almost to IdrA, but is still just a little bit behind because IdrA does have that +1 carapace. So CatZ going for a little bit more tech in the early game, cutting drones a little bit here and there, and, you know, ending up in a position where I would not say he is in a bad position at all. Both players extremely close right now. IdrA just a little bit ahead in drones, but definitely a little bit of a tech advantage for IdrA. Neither player has gone to Hive yet. So both players just kind of hanging on layer tech for now. We'll have to wait and see who makes the first switch to try and go to Hive Tech, if at all, because there is a lot of players who just prefer this mass unit type of style of play where you basically just run roaches, hydras, and festers. And that's basically just what you stick with the whole game and try and get a good positioning on your opponent. It's kind of like a TVT tank battle almost, where the infestors kind of work like the tanks. See a couple of burrowed infestors for CatZ here moving out, though, to that 4th base of IdrA, and this could actually be extremely huge as IdrA is going to need this 4th base up and be able to mine from it. But here comes down the infested Terrans, and these infested Terrans should clean up this base almost immediately so long as CatZ focus fires them. Killing the drones first, now going to be working on that hatchery, so that hatchery is probably going to be going down, and the infestors might actually even get away, and it's going to be extremely close. Yes, the hatchery does go down. Here comes some roaches now to try and clean up these infested Terran. Definitely will do that, but that does leave an opening for CatZ, and he is going to be looking to capitalize as he now moves in on the army of IdrA. Will IdrA be ready for this? IdrA just now turn around. Fungal growth goes down on the roaches. But right now, CatZ with a much superior position. Those IdrA is extremely exposed to the infestors. IdrA throwing down a few infested Terran, trying to get some fungal growths off with his infestors. Does have the better upgrades, but right now CatZ might actually have just out-positioned IdrA into potentially winning this game, as IdrA's forces are dwindling right now, and CatZ may be looking to break IdrA here. This is going to be extremely close. Do not know who's going to end up breaking who here. CatZ probably trying to get some reinforcements here. We see 36 roaches in production, but IdrA will hold for now. Cleans up that army assault of Complexity Gaming's CatZ. So IdrA, it will hold for now. The question is, what will CatZ follow us up with? He has a lot of roaches, a couple of hydras, quite a few infestors right now with his army. IdrA, in the meantime, trying to re-macro back up once again. If we do look at the supply there, we can see that CatZ has a sizable lead right now, 176 to the 155 supply of IdrA. And here comes CatZ once again, and IdrA has just GG'd out of the game, decided there was no way he was going to be able to win this game, and just decided to GG out of it, and that means CatZ is going to take this game. So congrats to Complexity Gaming's CatZ on winning this game. Just very good, smart position by CatZ. Went and attacked that fourth base of IdrA over here in the corner. Took that out. IdrA overcommitted his roaches to try and defend that, and IdrA ended up losing the fourth base. Probably felt like he was behind, especially after that big push by CatZ where he did catch IdrA largely out of position, killed most of IdrA's army. IdrA was trying to re-macro back up, but he knew that CatZ probably had a fourth base up on the map, had actually scouted it already, knew he was already behind, and just decided he'd rather GG out of the game rather than lose in another battle. Maybe could have still won, but that's how the breaks go. So CatZ takes the game. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe to modsonline.com's YouTube. And for now, this is going to be Nerski saying peace easy, guys. See you guys at the next cast.